It's Roger, Mudfossil University, and since I've been looking into health, I've been trying to look into all different corners of health because I want to be sure I'm saying the right things. If the gut affects you in one way, and microwaves affect you in a different way, and the air affects you in a different way, we are an extremely complicated organism, extremely so. After looking into the gut health issues and starting to put out, chumming the waters, so to speak, to find out what everybody else has to say, I got inundated with things of different people talking about different issues and health concerns. Some of them were just silly, and some of them, like this, are not. And this guy right here, this is Mr. Barry Trower, British physicist, microwave weapons expert, worked for the Royal Navy, British Secret Service, talks about health effects of Wi-Fi and other forms of microwave radiation. Now, this was prior to 5G. But he was so concerned he came out of retirement. He's an older gentleman that understands this stuff intimately, and he has some extremely stern warnings.
People started phoning me up and writing to me saying, can you explain this or can you help with that? I've never actually asked anyone if I can do anything. They always come to me. And then the police came to me and said, we're getting this new Tetra airwave system, we don't understand what's happening. Can you read all this scientific rubbish and just put it into Janet and John and tell us? And I said, of course I can. So that was published, and since then it's snowballed and snowballed and snowballed, and now I receive up to 1,000 communiques a week from various countries, various people, and I can't handle it.
I just want to make one statement too. I don't get that many, trust me, it's nowhere near that, but I can't handle what I am getting. But I want to do the research as well. Now, he's just sitting back, he's already done the research, he understands this. I'm trying to continue forward, so I'm having a hard time responding to people, and I just want you to know that. You're good.
So, and I'm here now because somebody asked me to come here. Wi-Fi, I think anyone who puts Wi-Fi into a school should be locked up for the rest of their life. I really do. I think they're not fit to walk on the surface of this planet.
Well, there you have it. And then he goes on to explain what happens and how it affects ovaries and tissues and cells and all these things. And they beam these things in strongly. Now they're going to beam them in at an extremely higher frequency. Now, I'm going to show you quickly just so you understand. All right, this is not any big hard thing to understand. What penetrates our atmosphere? Yes, down here, radio waves. No problem, we can do that. All the way up to about 2.4 gigahertz. Right up there, you're into the radiation that's microwave. You go beyond that, it says, no, you stay out of here. The atmosphere will not allow that. Then it allows a little infrared, keep you warm, and the visible light, obviously. And then you get into the stuff that hurts you again. Ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays. The Earth will not let it in. This is a system we live in that understands, and we think we can outsmart everything. They're going to take this up in here. And now, not only that, they have it registered for coming way up into here. They're selling licenses. It's so far into the gigahertz range, into the microwave range, I'm sorry, that it's... I don't even know what to say. How can these people get away with this? Why won't anybody stand up against this? Somebody has to have some influence. We are elected leaders here in the United States. I see no leadership whatsoever. Not a single word is being raised against this. And in other countries, they're already just slamming it out there. I mean, people in England or in the UK, I just hope the best for you because it's not going to end well. And it does not take long to cause these damages. You watch those videos. Start to learn what happens to genetic molecules that are shaken and ripped apart as they develop. All right, I guess that's my last word. Well, before I do that, let's just look at this quick TED Talk. He's He's talking about damaging effects of this radiation.
And Wi-Fi. I worked in Silicon Valley and have a master's degree in engineering. So if anyone had told me that wireless technology could have health effects, I would have thought they're crazy. So if you're thinking that right now, I can relate. But this all changed for me over the period of about 1 week. And I started to experience headaches, ringing in the ears, insomnia, and a fatigue and brain fog that I'd never experienced before. And I shared this with a colleague at work, and she said, you know, the exact same thing happened to her husband when a wireless smart meter was installed in their home. So I went home that evening, and I checked downstairs, and sure enough, we had a bank of wireless smart meters installed right below our bedroom in San Francisco. So this started me on a journey to learn as much about this topic as I possibly could. I now have a website about this, and I'm contacted by people all around the world every day who are experiencing the exact same things.
All right, so I'm not going to bother boring you with this. It's a TED Talk, and it's called Wireless Wake Up Call, Jeremy Johnson, TEDx Berkeley. Now, it's not even in question, this stuff. The problem is that the money is driving the process. And it's in such full swing now that, somebody's going to have to stand up. And the person that stand up is going to get swatted down. I can tell you that right now. Because when money speaks, it's a damn hard thing to stand up and speak against it. I don't see too many people have ever been real successful. But this time, it is not just the money that is pushing this and everybody's going to be happy on that side of the money. Because on that side of the money is the same freaking place as this side of the money. So you are not going to protect yourself with your dollar bills. They will do nothing for you. All right? That's all I have to say. Okay, I'm just going to show you the smoking gun. They refuse to do any testing on this. They will not, other people have done the testing and it's bad. And the energy companies refuse to do it and refuse to participate in it and just say, well, we're happy with what we have. Listen to what this guy has to say. He's a typical spokesman. They all say the same words, just different mouth.
Meters at this point.
So I asked Pepco if
In other words, he just said, we're happy with the results of our meter testing at this point. We don't need to do any more. Because they asked them to come with them. Oh, here she goes.
we could go out with their experts to do their own test. They told me they would look into it. And just to be clear, we're not saying whether or not this radiation is dangerous. That's up to the scientists, and it is currently the subject of a very heated debate.
I'm saying it's dangerous.
The definition of a smart grid is a wireless system that will fundamentally turn every single appliance in your home into the equivalent of a transmitting cell phone. That's every computer, every television, every furnace, every air conditioner, every coffee machine, every printer, every single appliance that you have in your house will eventually, in a smart grid, have an antenna that's embedded into it that will transmit your usage data to a smart meter on the outside of your home that will then transmit your usage data to another tower receiving a usage signal that will then go to the utility company for supposedly billing purposes. Not all signals will just be about your individual use. There will be aggregate meters that will bounce signal from house to house.
Now, we're going to go with the smoking gun. I want you to look at the vegetation around these meters, and then they're going to show the living tiny things around these meters. And this is what scares the hell out of me, because bacteria has no depth to them. Seeds have no depth. Insects have no depth to speak of. They're all powered by water, as we are, as our eyeballs are. That water is going to be shaken. Don't tell me, oh, it's just going to be shaken a little bit. No. No, the frequency shakes water inside your microwave identical to how it will shake inside your eyes. It's just not of an intensity that makes it boil. The atomic interaction is identical. Zero difference. None. You just don't boil. Well, how do you think your water feels about that? How do you think your cells feel about being that? How big are your cells? Are your cells the size of you? No. They are the size that will be affected by these tiny, tiny little regions that are going to be near the water. Wherever the water is going to be shaken and ripped to shreds. This is the way it works. If it can get to it. Now, on the surface of your eye, insects, well, let's look and see what happens to insects.
House to house within a neighborhood that will then accumulate all of the usage data that will transmit that to the utility company.
this
Now,
thing
what
pumping
that
out all
will
these
do is that the
frequencies.
end metering
Here it
system
is
that is
now.
transmitting.
They got aphids. Well, the plant's being infested. Probably the plant's dead from being destroyed and it's ready to die. So these things are invading it. And they found out they invaded an area that is going to kill them.
All of that data will be firing an RF signal at many, many times a second, which will increase the average homeowner's radio frequency radiation exposure exponentially.
This picture shows some aphids on the leaf of an orange tree shortly after radar equipment was installed at a nearby airport a number of years ago. I noticed that every few seconds, all the aphids would tense up in unison and do sort of a little dance, as you see in the picture. Upon further investigation, I found that the interval of time between the activity of each dance coincided exactly with the rotation of the radar rotor device at the airport, which was a distance of approximately 14 miles.
And we now have vast amounts of published.
Now, just so you understand, microwave radiation is not allowed to flow through the atmosphere by the atmosphere itself. So I'm not sure what that frequency they were using at the radar there, but it's probably somewhere in that range. But they're going to have cell tower, or these different little transmission towers very, very close to each other. And they're going to have to be fairly high powered in order to break through the water that is in the atmosphere. And your water's in the atmosphere right along with that water. You're in the middle of the whole thing, so you're just getting popped too. If they don't do any testing on this is unconscionable. This is just inhumane. It's an inhumane thing to do. This is a crime against humanity. To just take a bunch of money to install all this, and that is what it's turning out to look like to me. If you watch this film and you don't get any other impression than that, I don't know. We didn't see the same film. I'd like to see something, in depth done about this. Everybody's complaining, but boy, you can't break through to that level of leadership.